Welcome to the first lesson on probability, guys. In today's lesson, we're just going to look at some of the language around probability and also how to write the sample space of an event that is occurring. So let's just jump straight into it. So let's begin by looking at the word probability and what it means. So probability is how likely something is to happen. How likely is it that when I flip a coin, I get a heads? Or when I roll a dice, I get an odd number or an even number. That's what probability is. Now, those things that are happening, like flipping a coin and getting a heads, that's called an event because it's the thing that is happening. Now, we can use this chart here to describe that probability. So the terms at the top is what we would use to describe them, or we could give them a numerical value depending on how likely or the probability of something occurring. So we start with our impossible, which is 0, so nothing will ever happen. It cannot happen. We have our even chance in the middle and our certain at the other end, which is 1. So in between we have a highly likely, very unlikely, unlikely, somewhat unlikely, and then the other side is somewhat likely, likely, very likely, highly likely before certain. Now the numerical values fall between 0 and 1. And all the values between impossible and certain are decimal. So we have 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, and you can see 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. That is the probability. So when you're asked to give the probability of an event occurring, it would be written as a decimal or sometimes a fraction as well. So let's state the probability of the following. So flipping a coin and getting a heads. So it's either heads or tails, which means there's an even chance here. Now, what is the chance that tomorrow you're going to turn 100? I can almost guarantee you that it'll be impossible. Being in 9 gold next year. So this one's a little bit tricky because you need to know that there's 1 9 gold and 10 homerooms in total. So you've got a 1 in 10 chance of being in 9 gold. Now, that's highly unlikely that you're going to be in gold next year because it's a 1 in 10. Now let's talk about the sample space. So a sample space is all the possible outcomes there is. So for example, the sample space for rolling a dice is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6 because we could get number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Now, if it was to say the probability of rolling a dice and getting a odd number or recording whether it's odd or even, the sample space for that would be odd or even because it doesn't matter what the number is, we just want to know if it's odd or even. So, list the sample space of the following. So randomly selecting a colour from the rainbow. So we do our S equals and our curly brackets, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. So we can see how I've set it up with our brackets. These are important. Randomly selecting a letter from the word energetic. Now these are different. When you're talking about an event occurring and the sample space, we only count each one once. So see how we've got 3 E's here? We wouldn't write E out 3 times. We just write it once because there's only 1 E. There's 3 E's that could occur, but there's only the one in our sample space. We don't need to list all of them. So we get the sample space equals E, N, R, G, T, I, and C. So we don't repeat any of the letters. Okay, I want you to pause it and I want you to go and do this one now, please. So your answer should look something like this. Sample space equals MATHEICS with none of that repeated again. And the last one, randomly pulling out a number between 1 and 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, the last thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the number of elements in each sample space. So this is the number of different outcomes we could get. So here there is red, blue, orange, and green in this sample space. And so we say the number of elements is 4. So I want you to pause it now. I want you to do B and then come back. Okay, so you should have had the number of elements equals 6. So that's it, guys. Remember, if you have any questions, please make sure you ask. Otherwise, we will see you in the next video. Bye.